Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Mr. Ruli and my beloved friends. We are from Group 4. In this moment, we would like to talk about creative response to the story of In 1 Hour by Cat Chopin. Before we start it, I would like to introduce our group members. My name is Nafisa Fitri as a moderator, and then there is Asakina Elwan, and then last, Fatima Zahro as a presenter. So let's start it.
Number 1. What is the central idea of the story of An Hour by Kate Coppin? The short story centers on the concept that women crave freedom and independence. These themes develop by describing the changes in Louise Mallard after she received the news of her husband's death. She realized that her husband's death meant she was free to do what she wanted, and she was finally able to assert her independence. She is free from oppressive confines of marriage. But at the end of the story, there was something surprising that her husband was still alive and well. But Louise Hart couldn't take the shock of her living husband. Because of that, she eventually died of her disease. Number 2. Elaborate the theme of feminism in the story. The theme of feminism in the story is clearly explained by Chopin that women are oppressed and persecuted by society. Women are dominated by their husband and forced to lives controlled by their husband. The husband is independent and like a ruler, while the wife is considered a slave. In marriage, the wife is treated as inferior, without free will, and must act on her husband's order. Chopin deconstructs the view of a typical wife by describing Louise Mallard's different response to her husband's death. This story shows how married women are unhappy in their married life and depend on their husbands. This reflects how women struggle to find their identity. This story perfectly describes the feeling of a wife in the late 19th century.
Number 3. Can you tell the truth from falsity? Mrs. Miller's happiness on the news of the death of her husband is an irony, or we can call it a wrong thing. This happiness does not come without reason. Marriage makes Mrs. Miller or woman lost her identity. This is indicated by the change of the woman's last name to husband's names, like Miller. Marriage also makes women not completely free. Women can do many things before marriage and then they can't do it again after marriage. This makes us think that marriage is like a prison. From this statement, we can slightly agree or understand the feelings of happiness experienced by Mrs. Millard upon hearing the news of her husband's death. Or we can say that Mrs. Millard's happiness on the news of the death of her husband is a little justifiable. Number 4. Mention some symbols mentioned in the story and their meaning. The heart disease, referred to as a heart condition within the text, opens and closes the text. The disease is initial cause for everyone's concern, since Loza's conditions makes her delicate. Later, heart disease causes loses death upon promptly self-return. In this case, Lucy's ailing heart has symbolic value because it suggests to readers that her life has left her heartbroken. When she believes she's finally found freedom, Louise prays for a long life. When just the day before, she said, had thought with a shudder that life might be long. Louise realizes her freedom. It's almost as if her heart sparks back to life. Chopin writes, now her bosom rose and fell tumultuously. She was striving to beat it back. Her pulses beat fast, and the coursing blood runs and relaxed every inch of her body. These words suggest that with her newfound freedom, the symptoms of her heart disease have lifted. Readers can summarize that Louisa's diseased heart is the result of being repressed, and hope brings her heart back to life. Unfortunately, when Brandley comes back, so does Louisa's heart disease. And although her death is attributed to joy, the return of her heart, the return of her heart disease, both symbolic and literal, kills her in the end. Well, thank you. That was our presentation from Group 4. Thank you for watching. I hope you can get many informations from these presentations.